Hello guys, this is the Trading Journal for Monday the 16th of November, brought to you by Vertical Spreads. My name is David and I'm also known as the Spread Doctor. It was another bullish day in the equity markets, as you can see from the heat map. There is more green than red. And by the closing bell, all the major indices closed higher, with both the Dow and the S&P posting new record highs for the year. The markets were lifted mainly by the news that Moderna's COVID-19 drug reported a 94% effective rate. Now, this 94% effective rate announced by Moderna is slightly higher than Pfizer's 90% effective rate announced last week. But in addition to that, Moderna's vaccine also has another advantage over Pfizer. And that advantage comes in form of transportation and storage. So Moderna's vaccine remains stable at 36 to 46 degrees Fahrenheit, which is the standard room temperature or a standard medical refrigerator. And at that temperature, it can be stored for up to 30 days. In addition to that, it can also be stored for up to 6 months at -4 degrees Fahrenheit. On the other hand, Pfizer's drug requires storage temperature of -94 degrees Fahrenheit. And it has been reported that there are not many of the current distribution channels that can store or transport to -94 degrees. And it can only be stored for up to 7 days. So that's the challenge facing Pfizer at the moment compared to Moderna. Moderna can store for up to 30 days at room temperature. Pfizer can store for up to 7 days at -94 degrees. And that is why, if you look at the chart of Pfizer, the announcement came last week around here. It gapped up and it's gradually come back. It's now come back to fill that gap, this gap here. So it went up on the announcement and then it's gradually come back down. It didn't help that the CEO was selling the stock around here. That didn't instill much confidence. But that's Pfizer. Moderna rocketed, it went higher today. In the pre-market, it was actually very high. It was as high as, I believe, 105, which would have been up about 15%. But when the regular market session opened, it opened much lower than it had been trading in the pre-market. Moving on to the VIX continues to slide downwards. It was down by about 2.8% today to close at 2245. It still remains above the crucial 20 level. I think that's what we can expect for now. The major cloud of uncertainty about the US elections has been lifted, so it's quite expected that the VIX would come back down to earth, but it's still above 20 and I don't think we can ask for more than that. In terms of trade ideas, I had no new trade ideas today, and there are now 4 days until the November contract expires, and there are 32 days until the December contract expires. And this means there are 2 more days for me to find one more trade idea for the December contract, and I should be able to find one over the next 2 days. Moving into my open positions, I now have 3 open positions in the December contract. I've got no open positions in the November contract. The first one is ARKK, this one here. Sold the 91.86 put spread for a credit of $1.30. Let's see where ARKK closed today. ARKK closed at 99.54. So my short 91 put strike is currently out of the money and no action is required on this position at the moment. The second position is in BA in Alibaba, and on this one I sold the 250-245 put spread for a credit of $1.50. BA closed at 258. It was down some $2, but still my 250 short put strike is still out of the money and no action is required on this one. And the third and final one is in Moderna, mRNA. I sold the 75-70 put spread for a credit of $1.60. mRNA closed at 97.95, up some $8.56. And like I said earlier, it was much higher than this in the pre-market. That said, my short 75 put strike is out of the money. And pre-market, I sent out an alert updating my profit target on Moderna from 55 cents down to 30 cents. And my thinking at the time was, if the market did open at $105, then the 75 puts would have, the price of the 75 put would have come down dramatically. But as it happened, the market didn't open at the level it was trading at in the pre-market. That said, I'm going to leave my target at 30 cents for now. But I may revise it back upwards at a later date. But for now, I'm going to leave it at 30 cents and see what happens. I think that's the end of my open positions. Let me go on to my watch list. So I've got ARKK, BCLI, PDD, UUP, and UNG. ARKK, ARKK 99.54, applied volatility 51. BCLI $11.94, IV rank 87. PDD $142 stock, implied volatility 65. UUP $25 stock, IV 51. And finally UNG $10 ETF, IV 53.7. So those are the items on my watch list for today, and that brings me to the end of my journal for today. The main highlight from today is that there are now 32 days for the December contract to expire, so my window of opportunity for selling spreads is open for another 2 days, and I hope to find at least one more trade idea over the next 2 days. Thank you for listening, and goodbye.